spewing calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere.
Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical climate change solution, creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the Earth. It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial. It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere. It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface. It would mimic a giant volcanic eruption, which we know cools the Earth.
Now, just to restate, Bill Gates is not God. Bill Gates is some kind of weird, socially awkward rich guy who lives in Seattle. He doesn't own the planet, but he's now changing the planet single-handedly. This is not just over his yard in Seattle. This is over your yard by spewing calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere.
Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical...
What's going on, everybody? It's your brother Nubreed coming through with another live stream. And yes, Bill Gates is the pipsqueak that's out here plotting world domination as well as depopulation. And we got a lot to unpack tonight. We got to talk about all the connections. That's right. We're talking about Trump. We're talking about Epstein. We're talking about Bill Gates. And I'm going to tell y'all this right now. What's coming out right now leaves no room for excuses. It leaves no room for second guessing. What we're going to evaluate this evening, you're going to know without a shot of a doubt what's really going on with the beast system and how, as believers, we need to be maneuvering right now. Now, we're going to get to it, brothers and sisters. Make sure y'all like on your way in. Make sure the notification gets out. Y'all already know that we go into detail and we get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get to it.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we're truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks, but these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. Nubreed.
Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Shout out to everybody joining. I want to give some honorable mentions to all the moderators. Shout out to Barbara Ronson. Shout out to the Elder. I see Tamika Buckley's in the building, Tania. Some of the regulars are in the building. I see Unveiled Woman in the house, Christy Singleton. Kim is in the building. Yes. Angela Hall, Cynthia, I'm glad to have y'all. I'm glad to have y'all. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that you share this live stream, because sharing actually helps a great deal. We're about to blow the lid off of this Epstein thing, y'all. We really are. Hopefully this live stream can stay up. Because I'm going to tell you right now, some of the things I'm going to say, they will appear very much controversial to the world. But these things need to be said. I want to start off by saying this. I believe everyone who is found on those Epstein files doing something illicit, foul, and filthy, they should just go ahead and take every last one of them, put them back on the island, right? And just let them fight to the damn death. That's what they should do. Take every last one of them, put them on the island, let them fight to the death, let it be one survivor left, and make them think that they're going to get off the island, and then just go ahead and execute them too. And since they like eating people, leave them there with no food or water so they could just go ahead and cannibalize each other. I believe that's what should happen based on the things that I'm seeing, right? I think that would be justice. I think that would be true justice. Yeah, let them go ahead and play Hunger Games. You know, it just came out that they were actually hunting melanated people. This came out on Black History Month, called us moon crickets. They were playing sniper games out there, in case you don't know. So I have no remorse for the people who got caught up in those files. I mean, I didn't have any remorse for them before, but since they want to make sport out of it, I think their justice, their judgment, it should be some sport made out of them. But instead, in America, we're paying the taxes to these individuals. That's how much ideological subversion and beating down mentally they've done against the people. We still have to dish out our tax money to these individuals. But anyway, not to get on a whole rant about that, but the righteous, when oppressed, we are angry about that stuff, right? Now, we got to talk about these individuals who are connected, right? And we're going to also get into a few other notable mentions who was on that island doing some wild things, some names that some people are afraid to talk about, but we're going to go there. We're going to go there. Now, we're going to hone in on Bill Gates to start off because, as some of you all know, Bill Gates was mentioned on the files. He was allegedly begging, not even allegedly, we got the files, it's on the paperwork. All you got to do is go on the DOJ website. You can see everything you need to see. But Bill Gates was out there catching diseases, begging Epstein for antibiotics because he was passing things to his wife and he was plotting on sneaking antibiotics to his wife at the time. Now, this is the same guy who is planning another pandemic. And I think it's very important that we point out this evil here. All right. It's very important. Because this is the pipsqueak who is really trying it. And I say this right now, there's no excuse at this point to fall for any of their smoke and mirrors. Let's go.
Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year.
So here you have this devil who has been plotting all these years on making families smaller. Making families smaller. This is the same individual that had everybody lining up to go get the jab. And come to find out, he's all about depopulation. He's all up on these Epstein files. This is the man that was targeting the VMAT2 gene. This is him. What they call the God particle. This is the guy that was trying to extinguish our light, because there's a part of the brain in those who are chosen, those who are chosen by the Most High. There's a part of our brain that glows. He was aiming to try to extinguish that from God's people. This guy. Now, there's a reason why I'm going in and I'm pointing this person out, because there is another pandemic that they're planning. And what I have to do as a teacher is to make sure that my people don't fall for it again. Before the World Health Organization clamps back down on these platforms, once they start rolling out their campaigns, brothers and sisters are forewarned. Let's go.
And it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. And so we can feel great about saving those lives.
So he's all about making family sizes go down, opposed to what it was in the 60s. Bill Gates is a monster, just like the rest of them. They talking about aliens. Bill Gates is an alien. And we are definitely going to be unpacking that nation address. What they call it? Not a State of a Union, but the State of the Nation address that just took place. How many of y'all seen that? Some of y'all may have seen it by show of ones. If you've seen the State of the Nation address from Donald Trump, goodness gracious, y'all. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was a total circus. And we're going to unpack some of the stuff that happened there. It was a circus. The reptilian shapeshifters were showing up. There was a lot of, there was a lot of everything going on there. There was a lot of everything going on at that State of the Nation address. Y'all seen it. See, y'all some well-informed people. It was crazy, y'all. We're going to talk about it. It was terrible. It was terrible. So many lies. I mean, you could just pull out fact checkers and get Trump in the first 15 sentences was all lies. All lies. A lot of deflections. There was a lot of interruptions. People were heckling Donald Trump. It was a wild thing, man. Erica Kirk showed up. It was crazy. It was crazy. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we gotta unpack this.
At the end of the decade, we'll have 5 or more vaccines available to all the children of the world. And finally, by the end of this decade, every country can have a delivery system to make sure that those vaccines are getting out to every single child. And that will allow us to move on to other very, very ambitious goals. And for all 193 member states, you must make vaccines a high priority in your health systems to ensure that all your children have access to existing vaccines now and to the new vaccines that have recently become available. By the end of the decade, we'll have 5 or more vaccines available to all the children of the world.
That's what they want. Now, you got to question this person's character because there's a record. And we're going to unpack the lies that Bill Gates have told. And I'm just showing you this, brothers and sisters, to show you the person that people have been listening to, the character behind this individual. Mind you, when he was going out India testing these vaccines on people, he wasn't doing this on his own children. He was testing those kids over there. This reptilian shapeshifter. They over there arguing about if it's aliens or not. Oh, he's one of them.
Well, Jeffrey, in retrospect, I was foolish to spend any time with him.
The Journal previously reported on Gates's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, including that Epstein threatened Gates over an affair he had. The two met a few times, Gates says, to discuss philanthropy.
Do you think, looking back at that moment, that you were being played?
Well, Jeffrey, in retrospect, I was foolish to spend any time with him, and he sort of, got time with various people by spending time with other people. So yes, I think I was quite stupid. I thought it would help me with global health philanthropy. In fact, it failed to do that, and it was just a huge mistake.
Has it made you more aware?
Global health philanthropy. So he's telling on himself. He's saying that he was building with Epstein to get help with global health philanthropy, meaning roll out his vaccines, roll out his eugenics, which really is just euthanization that he's doing. So he's admitting that his relationship with Epstein is related to his world domination, right? To his depopulation.
Area of connections.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Well, Jeffrey, in retrospect, I was foolish to spend any.
Now, he's trying to make it seem like he ain't connected, that he ain't done nothing. Watch this.
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, It had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. You know,
now, that's a bold-faced lie. Yep, that's a bold-faced lie. And how do we know that? How do we know that? Let's go there. Let's go there.
You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing.
You know, I never went to the island. I never met any.
The inmates are running the asylum. Look, the Bible tells you straight up, in Luke 12:2, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Listen, the lies are being exposed. Now, if he's lying about that, how could you trust this individual to lead the world global health? How could we rely on this person when that's a bold-faced lie and the Melinda Gates ex-wife confirmed it? Not only did she confirm it based on what was happening, but the files itself tell us straight up what was going on. He was trying to get them antibiotics. So whatever they got rolling out from any of these individuals, when it comes to our health, don't take it. Don't take it.
Brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck. Brings back.
Yep, she confirmed it. She didn't defend her ex-husband for a reason, people. She didn't defend him for a reason. Now, man, we got to unpack some stuff. We got to talk real quick about this State of the Nation address. It was wild, y'all. It was wild.
Stop illegal aliens and others unpermitted persons from burning in our sacred America. Stop illegal aliens and others.
They got to stop illegal aliens and others. And what I believe Trump is talking about here is he's talking about the war on his own citizens. See, they're not just going after illegal aliens. They're going after actual United States citizens. They done spoke a great deal about denaturalization of American-born citizens. And you bet your bottom dollar that's coming. Oh, yeah. That is definitely on the way. Now, Nancy Pelosi did something wild during Trump's 2020 State of the Union, but I'm not going to go there right now. We're going to go to what was going on here and how real this is getting.
This criminal piece of shit needs to be removed from office as soon as possible. Got an article here from NPR. I'm just going to read you the first sentence. This alone should be reason enough to remove him from office, the fact that this is even happening. Here's the first sentence. The Justice Department has withheld some Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor. The President of the United States is in open defiance of a law that he signed just 2 months ago that requires him to release all of the Epstein documents, and he is purposefully ordering the Department of Justice to cover this up to withhold the documents that are required by law to be released because he is named in those documents. And he is named because he is being accused of sexually abusing children.
And make no mistake about it, for all you MAGA supporters, all you black conservatives out there, Trump is mentioned in these Epstein files over 5,000 times. There's more than just that allegation that we just witnessed. No, there's a lot more, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot more. And the fact that he's still in office is rather troubling, but we know that the Most High is getting ready to judge. Now, we can't move unwise in this time. Meaning, yes, I'm able to sit up here on social media and talk about this out loud, able to be a voice for a lot of you brothers and sisters who would like to discuss this stuff. But let me be very clear about this. The mass majority are being docile, they're being blind, they're being silent, and they're complicit. And anybody who stands for justice and righteousness, we actually put a target on our backs. So what I need y'all to do is just be very wise with how you move out here. But make sure you have no fellowship with darkness. Ephesians 5:11, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Understand that darkness can only survive in secrecy. If you have the ability to be able to speak boldly and speak freely, then rebuke and reprove it. I'm not telling you to be cowardice. I'm not telling you to hide. I'm telling you to be wise, because you will be surprised how many people are in agreement with this wickedness and perversion that's going on. Because when the truth is out there, bold as ever, that leaves no room for excuses at this point. There's no more room for excuses. Everything that's coming out about these files, it changes everything, brothers and sisters. The line in the sand is there. Ecclesiastes 12:14 says, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing. See, even what people think they escape accountability for, in these next couple months, a lot of these people are going to start getting judged. Make no mistake about it. They will. They will start getting judged. This ain't going to go on but so much longer. And once it start happening, oh, y'all going to see. I will be here covering every second of it. Because listen, it just came out that Pan Bondi admitted to hiding those files. Yes, there's some secret recording they got of her. Look at this.
This is fucking crazy.
Some files are going to get released?
We hope soon. FBI's been.
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? Tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids.
This is.
She just said there's thousands of videos with all little kids. She was on camera with that being recorded. So listen, we know that they've been covering this stuff up. We know they've been covering it up. And the State of the Union address, or state of the, whatever they call in this thing, it was some random thing they did, but a lot came out here too.
Today our border is secure, our spirit is restored, inflation is plummeting, incomes are rising fast, the roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared, our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
That man just told 10 lies in 10 sentences. That's how bad this State of the Nation address was. It was horrible, y'all. He's touting all these accomplishments with no proof. America is doing bad right now. America is doing real bad right now.
criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, she was heckling. Oh, she was heckling big time. What is her name? Anu something. And also there's a representative, I think a House rep named Al Green. He got put out. They escorted him because he was doing a lot of outbursts about Trump posting, the Obamas as monkeys. So it was a lot of heckling going on. It was a lot of outbursts. It was highly emotional. Yeah, her name is Ilhan Omar. Or Omar. Yep.
Criminals and
I mean, it was highly tense out there, man. Highly tense out there. And look at this, Howard Lutnick. This devil who got exposed for all his wicked acts in the files. He out here smiling ear to ear like he has no shame whatsoever. Look at him.
Nice to see you, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you.
I'm telling you. What does these scriptures tell us? Proverbs 26:26. Whose hateth is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation, which means deception will eventually be exposed publicly. It has to. See, they operate in deceit. They put certain information out there, and they only do it so they can continue operating as if nothing happened. Everybody put a 1 in the chat if everything is still flowing. Make sure the chat is still moving. This is crazy stuff, y'all. This is crazy stuff.
So let's talk about the facts. Fact number 1, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number 2, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number 1, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number 2, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. So let's talk about the facts.
Now, they also saying that Melania Trump was actually Epstein's girl before it was Trump's. So she was heavily connected to the files as well. But Trump was mentioned more than anybody in these files. Somebody said no volume. What doesn't have any volume? I'm telling you, somebody said Trump got mud all over him. You're right. Dirty. Very much dirty. But they're being exposed. Daniel 2:22. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what's in the darkness. Listen, the Most High specializes in exposing these people. He specializes at it. If it was up to the corrupted powers that be, the so-called powers that be, none of this stuff will be out. But the Most High's hands is in it because there obviously has to be somebody fighting within the system somewhat in these Supreme Courts to try to get some of this stuff out. And that's why we're going to keep applying the pressure. Yeah, for that person that said the volume was out, you got to be careful not to do that because that can destruct distract, pardon me, the stream. But I'm telling you right now, we've been told a lot of lies, brothers and sisters. Oh man, the media been lying for a while. They lied on Michael Jackson. They did. We're gonna bring that out too. Apparently, they've been telling us that Michael Jackson was a PDF whole time. Never Ever Land. He was using Never Ever Land to get kids some refuge. Yeah, and that's actually we can actually coordinate that in the files. That's right.
I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I will slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry.
So Michael Jackson used his life to protect children, yet was misunderstood by the world as a criminal. Neverland, this mysterious place, was not as simple as the outside world thought. Recently, a previously undisclosed truth was revealed. In Neverland, Michael Jackson shielded children from the forces of darkness.
And yes, we have coordinated that in the files. This is true. And we had various child stars came out defending Michael Jackson, you know, saying that the feds pulled up trying to blame him. Why? Because he was trying to save the children. See, listen, even though they whitewashed Michael Jackson, he may have had some kind of skin disease. I don't know. I believe that they MK Ultra'd him, they whitewashed him. But guess what? His spirit still was trying to protect the children. But look at what the nasty white supremacists was doing. Look at what the MAGA folks was doing. Look at the fake Christians. Look at what they was over there doing. They was doing the absolute worst. I say the fake Christian, the real Christians, we right here in the chat. And I'm just talking about those who follow Christ, as the scriptures have written, without religion or the Roman Catholic influence.
Keeping them away from the terrifying reality of Epstein's Island. He provided children with a sanctuary, protecting them from harm and abuse, yet was misrepresented by the media and the public as a criminal. He was falsely accused of abuse, while the real abusers remained undisclosed. Macaulay Culkin and other celebrities publicly defended Jackson, proving that he was not only a musical genius, but also a hero who fought for the safety and protection of children. He not only protected children from physical harm, but also helped celebrities like Britney Spears, offering her advice when she faced control from her father, protecting her freedom. Today, as more truths are revealed, we can finally see Michael Jackson.
He had too much influence. And this is what these white supremacist devils do. Try to destroy anybody who's reminiscent to a hero. And I'm not saying that Michael ain't take no oaths and he wasn't part of the industry. He was a child star. But nonetheless, he may have been abused himself, and he's trying to protect these children.
For who he truly was, a hero who sacrificed for others.
I am not going to do anything.
Right. I'm telling you, they will have the lake of fire. They will be burnt. Revelations 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire. They're all going. They will be consumed by the beast. Oh, we're gonna get into it because these people have been telling too many lies, and it's all coming out now.
Do you regret the links that there have been?
You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent.
There are calls for another individual who denies wrongdoing.
Now, we already got Bill Clinton all in the files. See, this is why I call these people straight up liars. Bill Clinton is all over the files. Trump was blowing bubble on the files. What is she talking about? She's even trying to exonerate him. See, if you telling a lie about one part, you lying about everything. And not to mention that she's mentioned in the files. Hillary is mentioned for allegedly offing Bill Clinton's best friend that she happened to be sleeping with. This is how dysfunctional these people are. What was that guy's name, man? I did a whole video on that guy. The guy that was Bill Clinton's friend. He was in the White House. He had some type of political position. If y'all know his name, anybody just share that with me. And she allegedly cheated. And it's mentioned in the files. I mean, it's mentioned there. And it was all over the news when he died. And he died not too far from the White House. She's in pictures like that. That's what I'm talking about. These people will sit up here and lie to you. Now I got to go get that guy's name because you got to do your research. She was allegedly having an affair with this guy who mysteriously died back in the early 90s. His name was, matter of fact, let me pull it up. His childhood, it was Bill Clinton's childhood friend. And it was a high profile death. It was all over the news in the 90s. Hold on. It was, dang. Oh, here we go. This the guy right here.
Well, the driveway here, I noticed a brown Honda.
Vince Foster. Vince Foster.
Reddish brown, rust brown colored Honda with Arkansas license plate.
There's a whole documentary on this. Vince Foster was his name. Yep. In the Epstein file, she was allegedly having an affair with Vince. And somehow he mysteriously died not even 10 miles from the White House. That's in the files. So, you know, listen, these people are liars, man. They all are freaking liars. Everything that we've been told from these public officials are lies. They're always lying.
To go before Congress on this matter. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew. Do you think he should testify?
I think everybody should testify. Look,
including the former prince.
I think everybody should testify who is asked to testify. I just want it to be fair. I want everybody treated the same way. That's not true for my husband and me because other witnesses were asked to testify. They gave written statements under oath. We offered that. They want to pull us. Why do they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump. This is not complicated.
Yeah, they playing a blame game. They shifting back and forth, and they all guilty.
Former Prince Andrew arrested by the police.
Now listen carefully to what Trump says. This is going to prove that it's one big club. This is going to prove it right here. Now we know Prince Andrew was arrested. Listen to how Trump responds to Prince Andrew being arrested. I thought this was a crazy response.
There, related to something with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, you know, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a
Now hear this. Trump says, I've been completely exonerated. I've been completely exonerated. I guess he exonerated himself because he's the president. But he says that Prince Andrew getting arrested is very, very sad, and he feels bad for the family. No, if this man is guilty and he got arrested, shouldn't we want to see this person punished to the highest extent of the law? So Trump is covering for his buddies here. He don't want nobody to get arrested. He don't want nobody connected to these files getting arrested, no matter what they did. He don't listen. He's talking about getting Ghislaine Maxwell out, who was setting up the whole thing. Crazy.
Very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing to see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was alive, but now they speak. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. In fact, the opposite. He was against me. He was fighting me in the election, which I just found out through the last 3 million pages of documents.
Former Prince Andrew arrested.
That is crazy. So now they're trying to make people feel sorry for the abusers. These people are sick. These people are sick. Every last one of them. And I mean every last one of them, people, including this devil right here.
And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy with children, that stuff makes me sad. It makes me sad more than anything that people would believe it. And, you know, it's taken me a long time to get to the point that I'm not, you know, I don't feel hurt by it. I don't feel personally hurt by it. But now I know we live in a world where it's going to be magnified. And
now look at this devil right here. Now, the Bible says the Most High hates lying lips. Oprah Winfrey is in the flight logs for showing up on that island 11 times. 11 times. And to add insult to injury, listen, the Bible tells us by their own words, let them be condemned. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let her be condemned by her own damn words. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's, since she want to act like she wasn't on that island doing the unthinkable, right? Let's pull Oprah's card real quick. We got to pull her card all the way. We got to pull her card all the way. That's what we gonna do. Out her own mouth, let her be. Now she said people just making up stuff on her. They saying it's a satanic cabal and she ain't doing this and ain't doing that. Nah, we gonna let her own words condemn her to show what she tried to justify. And I want y'all to listen to this carefully.
So this is what so many people don't understand. A big part of the confusion and shame for child victims is that the attention and the seduction from the predator, who is probably going to be somebody you know. Right. In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good.
What? Do you hear this sick bastard? Put them all on the island, let them fight to the death. Let them cannibalize each other on the island by themselves. How the hell anybody who even think like this gets a nationally syndicated television program? How the hell does anybody who even thinks like this be in a position of any leadership in this world. Oprah said this on national TV, so I can surely react to it. They thought it was okay. They thought that nobody would pay attention and this would just fly over people's heads.
In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good.
And that was such.
Man, listen, bro. Is this what does she know this by experience? Is this what she was telling herself when she was doing it? That's the question I got. Did she tell herself that she wasn't harming the child? She told herself they liked it. Is this what she told herself? And then has she done it? Has she done it so much where she thought it was so normal to say, not only to her constituents and peers, but she thought that that would fly on national TV? How would she know? Somebody said this video can't be real. The video is real. I'm not putting out a fake video. This is not AI. This is an older video. I remember it when it happened. On my Patreon, I was talking about this years ago. Just so that I'm clear, on Patreon, I talked about this years ago. The reason I'm revisiting it now is because now it's so much that came out on the internet. Nothing really has shock value anymore. It really doesn't, because they're putting everything out. But we should be outraged, believers of Christ, people who actually are real conservatives. These people are demons. These people are demons.
Such a particularly challenging part for me in beginning therapy. That was one of the biggest things I kept bringing to therapy was, what does it mean that it felt good? What does that mean about me?
That's one of the reasons it's so confusing for children. Yeah. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, "You crazy," because everybody wants to believe.
She said it years ago. She said this multiple times out loud. And here, I think there's a victim. There's a victim on the show saying, look, that's something he had to deal with in therapy. She's doing exactly what a predator would do. And he feels some type of way. This man is emotional right now.
For children. Yeah. And when I
therapy, that was one of the biggest things I kept bringing to therapy was, what does it mean that it felt good?
Right. What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean?
What does that mean about me?
It's so confusing for children. Yeah. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, "You crazy," because everybody wants to believe it's like sexual assault and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened.
If the abuser is any good, that's the choice of words that Oprah used. Again, this person been to that island 11 times, according to the flight logs. This sounds like she's trying to normalize something that is far from normal. Look, the Bible says if you harm or offend one of his little ones, it is better that you be cast at the bottom of the sea. That you be cast to the bottom of the sea with a great millstone wrapped about your neck. That should be the judgment of these devils.
And if the abuser is any good, he or she is going to make you feel like you're a part of it. I mean, and nothing is more being a part of it than what we discussed earlier.
That's sick. That's sick. Now, in context, people would argue and say, well, is she saying, it's just her choice of words. It's her choice of words. Now some would say, well, in context, Bree, she's saying that a person who can make a person feel like it feels good so they're not a victim. That's the context that people take it. That I guess they took it. But no. You got to ask yourself, how could she word it that way unless she has some type of experience? Unless she has some type of experience. How would she know how a 7-year-old would feel in that situation? How would she know that? So it's very, very strategic language that she used. But those who can see, we have something called discernment. We have something called discernment. So I just thought I would go there because, she's trying to act like she ain't a part of a satanic cabal. When we remember back on the Oprah show, she was saying there's many ways to get to heaven and get salvation. And y'all remember the one lady stood up and say, no, it's only Christ. This is the same one who had their own church, the Church of Oprah. Anybody who sit up there and make their own church, make their own self a God is a Satan worshiper. And you got to look out for people who are always talking about themselves. People will give up the belief in the Most High just to worship themselves. That's the biggest sign of a Satanist right there. Somebody who put themselves before God. Oprah did that. Telling you right now, these people are going to be judged. Everything changes from now because now the blinders should be lifted. There should be no blinders left on anyone. We can see that these people are the adversaries. They working with the devil. Yeah, she brought that new age philosophy nonsense. So Oprah got to cut that out, man. We know she was the same one over there when Hawaii got hit, out there taking advantage of the people. Her and The Rock. Yes, they are part of a satanic cabal. And we heard The Rock plenty of times say that he eats children. He said it like it was a joke. The Rock talking about he eats children. There ain't no joke in that. How many of y'all seen the politician? I think he's a House rep.
Tell us.
He ended up getting put out of that State of the Union address. They actually escorted him out. I'm gonna try to kind of dial it down a little bit because I know y'all gotta understand. I know it may be tough for some of y'all to hear this stuff, but it's also tough for me to speak about it because these people are just sick, man. These people are sick, and to see what they're doing and getting away with, it does something. It does something.
Why you have this sign and why you displayed it tonight?
Well, the genesis of this was a meme, I suppose, that the president published, and it depicted the first black president as an ape and the first lady as an ape. It depicted them as apes, members of the primate family. In this country, we have a history of black people being associated with primates and to some extent trying to depict us as a higher level of primates. Well, I reject that. But I also reject it coming from the president of the United
This is Al Green. I think he's a House rep. What position is Al Green? Is he a politician? What is he?
States. He should know better. He either knew or should have known that that should not have gone out. And if he truly thought that it went out by virtue of some sort of mistake or error, then he should have at least given some indication that he regretted it and that it won't happen again, that proper punishment would be meted out to the person who did it. But he has done none of that. We have gotten to a point now where we excuse his every action. And if we allow this to continue, we are in fact perpetuating what he is perpetrating. I refuse to be a part of the perpetuation of racism emanating from the presidency.
And to explain what happened when you unveiled this sign.
Well, I wanted him to see it, and I wanted him to see me. I didn't.
He's a rep for Texas. Thank you, Hebrew Care. And y'all make sure y'all support HebrewCare.com as well as NewbreedGlobalTruth.com. Support the work. But yep, okay, he's a representative for Texas. Okay, cool.
Want there to be any question as to how this was being brought to him. And when he saw it, I could see from the look on his face that he understood that he was being confronted. And he turned away quickly. And they escorted him away as quickly as they could. But he saw it, and he knows that I stand against this kind of behavior. Dr. King stood against racism, and he went to jail. Rosa Parks took a seat on a bus, and she went to jail. Well, there are consequences, but there are, on some issues, it's better to stand alone than not stand at all.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, but what we got to understand is everything that you see wrong going on in this country, the cover up that's going on, while worldwide, you know, there's people going up in arms right now. In some of the Middle Eastern countries, people who showing up on them files, they're raising hell. The reason why in America things are what they are is because of white supremacy. It's all the product of white supremacy. They all are bigoted. They all are racist. And these devils have showed their true colors. But as the scriptures tell us, 1 Corinthians 4:5, who will bring the light, the hidden things of darkness, and will make manifest the counsels of the heart? That's right. The Most High. He will be bringing all that's in the dark to the light. That is what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now, showing their true demonic colors.
And that's what I did, and I would do it again. Last time it was spontaneity. This time it was with intentionality.
Tell us.
So, listen, brothers and sisters, y'all know it's always an honor and a blessing building with y'all. I want y'all to definitely share the material, get this everywhere. Hopefully we're able to keep this broadcast up because, you know, I don't know, for whatever reason, I see a lot of other content creators, they just using certain choice words and they're just being forthcoming, exactly calling these people out, but they don't get their channels targeted. Hopefully we can get the same treatment because we should have the right to have some level of public outrage when young ones are being harmed. And the news gets away with saying a lot. Some creators get away with saying a lot. But I notice when I say certain things, even in my titles, when I can't say Epstein in my title, y'all see me title The Files. Why? Because anytime I put Epstein in my title, my video gets targeted. So that's just something I noticed. But nonetheless, man, it's always an honor and a blessing building with y'all. It's always an honor and a blessing. And I'm going to leave y'all with some words of encouragement. Well, let's get this off. I'm going to leave y'all with some quick words of encouragement. Listen, we just got to move in wisdom. You know, I know that we're outraged about a lot of things that's going on out here in the world. But be careful who you display your outrage to. It is better that we start to just separate ourselves from the masses and begin to join one another and find some harmony this summer that's coming on. Just start to build with one another. Come together collectively. Because if people can't see it right now, if everything that's coming out doesn't change everything for them, then they're not meant to see. They're just not meant to see. Because for those who can see, this changes everything. That means at this point, there's no excuses to fall for another pandemic. There's no excuses to trust government. There's no excuses to continue to have your trust in this land when they're not about any level of justice. There's no excuse for you not to turn to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and seek refuge in these final days. There's no excuse whatsoever to stay on their side and to have any hope and faith that they're just going to do the right thing out of nowhere. There's no excuse to put your trust in the voting system anymore. At this point, everything changes. And by the way, I personally believe that there may not even be any more elections. Y'all see Trump's eyes light up when he said, oh, so if there's a war going on in 2028, you're trying to say that there won't be no more elections? Oh, duly noted. Y'all remember when Trump said that? So listen, at this point, we need to start the exit stage left. Come out of her, my people. It's about time we start to exit stage left and run to the Almighty God. Start repenting, start forgiving others. Make sure you right your wrongs to the best of your ability. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Stand strong mentally, physically, and spiritually, because they're poisoning the air, they're poisoning the food, they're poisoning the water supply, and we need our energy fields up top notch in these last days, so the Most High can have that wedge of protection around us, because the system is extremely broken. These people don't have no humility. These people are not human beings, and that's just what it is. So peace and blessings to y'all. Is always an honor building. More material will be coming. Thank y'all so much. Y'all stay safe. With that being said, shalom. Peace.